Hi, I'm Corey Dahman. Welcome to Creating with Scraps. Happy 2024 and happy new projects. I know that for many 2023 was a challenge, and I hope that 2024 brings you new opportunity, great health, and just a whole lot of fun. What I decided to do with this is I had mentioned a long time ago, well, maybe a month or two ago, that I was going to do a Little Bits of Lace, a new idea book in 2024, focusing on using scraps of lace because I've got a ton of old lace that I've salvaged and repurposed and such. And I've been wanting to do that project for several years now. I had talked to Tracy Fox and Gail Augustinelli, and they said, sure, well, a collaboration would be fun. And then I dropped the ball and got busy and ill and life happened. And I didn't ask the other people to join in with me. So that was completely my fault. And Tracy in her newsletter and such had mentioned it. So what I would like to do now is encourage anybody who might be watching or who might want to participate or who might have an idea of ways to use scrap lace to just join the fun and use the hashtag Little Bits of Lace 2024. And that way everybody that wants to make a lace idea book can find some inspiration. Just make whatever you like using little bits of lace. You might have noticed in the title, I've got 3 different things. So I have Junk Journal January 2024, which is put on by Meg's Journals. She does a January and a July one. And I've done a couple in the past, and they're a lot of fun. They're super simple prompts, and it kind of gets you in a direction. And so what I've decided with this is I'm going to use my word for the year, rediscover. I've been doing a word of the year for several years now, well, almost 20 years now. And my word for 2024 is rediscover, because in this room, I want to rediscover some of the treasures I've already got, I've already found, and I have a plethora of those. And I also want to discover new ways to use them. So I want to rediscover what I have, discover new ways to use them. So that is my word, and that is essentially what I'm doing with this video. I am using the prompts from Junk Journal January and a really super simple book that I made, plus the lace idea book, and combining all 3 of them together. And I know that other people salvage lace from different places, but I've gotten to the point where it's absurd. This bin is full of salvaged lace scraps. And I have shelves in my craft room, for those of you who've seen my craft room tour, that are full of lace bits. And this bin is full, I'm going to zoom back in, this bin is full of lace scraps and lace bits. And I'm putting them out of the way as I go, just because these are right next to my desk. And this bin and this bin. And like I said, it's just gotten out of control. And rather than going shopping and finding more vintage bits, I'm going to really try hard to use a lot of what I've got this year. And I just feel like it's a new chance, a new start, and yeah. So I will be using mostly, and maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more, mostly this little itty bitty bin. I'm going to use some larger scraps, but mostly I'm going to focus on really tiny scraps and show some different ways to use those tiny scraps. Now, large pieces are great too, and I imagine anybody who wants to join in may show you ways to use larger pieces. All of it's welcome. And then I'll use some of these bits that I found last summer. So that is my plan, and here is where I'm starting, or here's my starting point. Okay, let's see, maybe I need to zoom. There we go. I made, again, using the idea of discover and rediscover. One of the last few videos I made showed how I use this particular type of spine hinge. It is one of my favorites, and I had this and it was ready to go. So I thought, well, gosh, I'm going to use it on this book. I also wanted to make it small to fit in the bottom of, oh gosh, it's a tree, but it's not really a Christmas tree. It's a tree with lights, and it has a box underneath it, and I wanted it to fit in that box, kind of like a vignette. And I intend to put different ornaments on the tree throughout the year based on the season. Like I've got some snowflakes started for January, and I've got some little felt hearts to hang on it for February, and that type of thing. And there's a pocket or drawer, and I want to put this in there. That's my thought. So this, it is, gosh, about 4 inches tall, 3.5 inches wide, and I think it's got about a 2.5 to 3 inch spine. And again, it was designed just to fit in that slot. And it was all using scraps, and that was the size that I had for this particular binding. So I just combined them and put them together. For this, I just used some chipboard pieces. And for those of you who watched that video, and I want to say it's 2 or 3 videos ago, more details on how to do that spine, I had made the spine insert for the pages, and then I crafted the covers, just covered them. I really like grungy, raw-edged pieces, so I did this particular journal that way, simply because it's my preference. The fabric is a Tim Holtz fabric that I've had for a while now, and it's called Stained Damask, and it is from Tim Holtz's Abandon line. So if you're wanting something comparable, that's what I used. It's just cotton, quilting cotton, I believe, but whatever fabric you've got, or actually the beauty of this is any kind of journal will work. If you've got a specific journal you'd like to use, then it's perfect. This is not size dependent. You can make this as large or as small as you want. And then I just put on a button and a bit of lace to close it up. And this one I'm doing a little bit differently in that I am going to build the pages as I go. So I said that I'm going to do Junk Journal January with Meg's journals, right? She has a list of prompts, and I put those prompts here, and I'll put her link below to her channel so you can go and support her and see what this is about, you know, with how she utilizes her prompts. And they're single word prompts, or I think 1 or 2 of them might have 2 words, but basically really open to creative license, and you can make it what you want. So for day 1, it's resolutions, and then a quote and throwback, blah, 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 on and on. So I'm going to use those prompts to decide what I'm going to make with the scraps of lace. That's my intention. And then I will put them in this idea book. I'm also using Little Bits of Lace 2024. This is going to be my idea book for that. And making clusters out of little bits of lace, or making clusters and adding little bits of lace, is one of my absolute favorite ways to use leftover. I mean, I've got some bigger scraps here, but I also have just little pieces like this, lots of those. And I use these all the time when I make clusters. There are other ways to use them as well, but that is one of my favorite ways. And so I thought that would be a good way to start it. So I've got a notebook here to document what I've made or who I've been inspired by with the Little Bits of Lace 2024. And then I put a cluster using those little bits of lace on this little notebook. So that is my journal that I will be filling this month. And it's got more than 31 pages so that I can, you know, if somebody joins late or I see something that I really want to make with lace, I can add it to it as well. But the first 31 pages will be for January. So I'm combining those things. And then I've got here some pages. Tracy Fox from Love Junk Journals, Tracy Fox Created, did a freebie on her newsletter. So you have to subscribe to her newsletter, and she's got 3 papers that are absolutely gorgeous. There's a collage of fabric, a collage of writing things, and a collage of lace. And what I did here was I cut down a couple of those pieces to use as I'm building this as I go. Another thing I did, because I'd already had the hinges ready, I took some pieces of chipboard, and I want a 1/4 inch gap. So when I glue these pages, when I'm ready to do the pages, you know, whether I'm going to sew on them or I don't know, whatever I'm going to do, whatever my pages are going to be, I want to make sure that they're all tucked in at the same spot. So I made this thick shim, I guess is what it is, to put down. So whenever I'm ready to glue each page in, I've got that shim in place so that I know I'm gluing it to the same spot on each page. So I'll put, you know, a little bit of glue on the inside of the page when it's ready to go, and then I'll use this to guide where I'm putting it, and then I'll glue it in. And then when I take this out, I'll have the same gap on each page. So that's something that you can do. I just took chipboard and I layered, I don't know, 3 or 4 layers of chipboard, 1/4 inch, because that made sense for this size journal, and then I can use that each time. So there's an idea for you. And then as I'm inspired and as I want to use these prompts to create things with lace, I'll just make the pages and put them in. I've not done this before, and I'm looking forward to trying it to see if it works or how well it works. So that's what I'm doing there. I've got a bin ready to go with just some pieces of lace. I've got a couple pieces of, I originally thought I'd do linen ledger and lace because I've had that in my idea books to make for a long time. But I thought, for the sake of this, I'm just going to focus on little bits of lace. So I've got some old lace, some newer lace, some acrylic lace, some cotton lace, and I've got my little itty bitty scraps, and I intend to use those for the vast majority of the projects. One thing I wanted to say is a lot of people have sent me messages and such wondering, where I am, why I haven't been creating as much and sharing as much, partly because of health issues, partly because of school and the needs of my students and all that it's requiring of me. But also sometimes when you're facing a challenge, crafting is the furthest thing from your mind. But other times crafting is exactly what you need to take your mind off of some of the other things you're going through. And the beauty of videos and sharing this way is that you can utilize them anytime. So whether you're in a crafting mode or you're not in a crafting mode, you can come back whenever you're ready and craft away. So if you're not there right now, I hope you join us in the future. And if you are right there right now, well, welcome along. Okay, so I'm starting with this simply because, and I'm not going to show you how to do it because I've done many, many videos. And I'm going to zoom down a little bit more. Many, many videos on clusters, simply because they're my go-to thing to make. Some people like to do collage. Some people like to make pockets. Some people make journaling cards. When I've got a little bit of time and some scraps, I like to make clusters. And if you look back and put clusters in the title, you'll see many videos from me showing different ways and styles and such with clusters. But the thing with these is they all use bits of lace in some way, shape, or form, and they're all small bits of lace, which is why I started the journal using a cluster and why I'm putting these here. So I think what I'm going to attempt to do is maybe once a week show you what I've done for that week. Show you how the prompt has inspired me to use little bits of lace. I'm also going to, watch the other people. Meg's Scraps, Meg Journals has collaborators or people that are participating with her challenge. And she encouraged people, she had invited certain people, but she also encouraged other people to join in if they chose to and use the Junk Journal January 2024 hashtag to encourage them to join along. And that's kind of what I'm doing, is using lace, scraps, and the prompts to make this journal. I'm hoping that I can make a video a week showing you what I've done, but that may not always happen. I'm going to try. That's my goal. But you can see here, these are just, I keep clusters on hand because I'll make cards or journaling cards or gift cards or what have you out of these. And I really enjoy making them. So some of the people that I had intended to ask, if I hadn't just lost my mind and gotten way too busy, were Tracy. And I think Tracy is going to do a video because she had mentioned that she would. And that's Tracy Fox Creative. And then Gail Augustinelli, I had brought it up to her, but then I never followed through. So she may or may not be able to do one. If she can, that would be fabulous. And I had a whole list of other people. Now I'm not going to mention them all because I don't want anybody to feel pressured. Oh gosh, Corey mentioned me, so I have to join in. That is not my intent in the least. I would love to have some people that are inspired and want to join, simply because I really feel like we can learn best from each other. Like I always tell my students, we learn best from our peers. We learn best from each other. And what a great way to learn, by watching other people who do this and do this well. So Wendy from Wendy's Journal Adventures, Sue at Paper Inspirations, Maggie White, Julie from Camellia Craft Designs, Heidi McGregor, Jibid Neary, Angela Kerr, Mandy at Sunflowers and Doors, Justine at House of Mahalo. Those are just a couple of the people that I had intended to invite. And if any of you see your name and would like to join in on the fun, I would absolutely love to have you. The requirements are this: use lace any way you want, make anything you want with it, share it with us, and inspire us with your your amazing creativity. I hope everybody is doing well and the new year finds you healthy and happy and ready for new challenges and adventures. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and happy creating.